To be able to go after a goal, we need commitment. Commitment is a very powerful statement to ourselves that will really commit ourselves, that we really go for our goal every day, that will show up for it, that will do the uncomfortable things to get to where we want to go, and that we really make a promise to ourselves that we think we're worth doing the thing and achieving the thing, whatever the thing is. And that is such a beautiful, healthy, incredible thing. We need that commitment to have the motivation every day to show up consistently, even when it's hard or even when it's not working out right away. But there is a point where commitment can tip over into attachment. And when you find yourself feeling frustrated all the time or feeling like you're not going anywhere with your goal, if you're not getting closer, you're not doing enough, if it feels like it will probably never happen, or if you're finding yourself feeling very overwhelmed with the thought that your goal might not be achieved, you may have tipped over into attachment a little bit. And this is a very natural human reaction when we go for our goals. I have been there, lots of people have been there, and going after something that we really dream about, that really gets us excited, really can bring up a lot of feelings, and we can really find ourselves a little bit obsessed with it, thinking about it all the time, not being able to let it go, and it basically becoming more of a chore and then something that really excites us. And that's really a shame because we need that commitment. We need that sort of positive inspiration to motivate ourselves to do it every day. And when we get too attached, we start doing it not from inspiration so much as more from fear, from what else, from like what happens if I don't do it, from it has to happen, from force. And that really, not only does that make the journey so much less enjoyable, it actually usually is kind of counterproductive, and it ends up being further away from our goal, since frustration usually isn't really helping us be creative or think of solutions. And if we're in that fear, it's really hard to think of other ways to get to where we want to go. So if you find yourself feeling very frustrated, feeling very scared, feeling like your goal has become such a chore, such a drag, but you feel like you just have to go there no matter what, you may have become a little bit attached. And I would like to invite you to take a moment to see what is going on here. What is it that this goal represents to you? What does it mean when you're not reaching the goal? What does that say about you? What kind of fears does that bring up? What kind of beliefs about yourself does that bring up? And then really allow yourself some space to see what comes up and see if you can learn what it is that makes you feel so attached to this goal. And how has that attachment showed up? Is it the fact that you really think about it all the time and you're not really doing anything else but focusing on your goal? Is it that you find yourself worrying about the outcome a lot? Is it that you feel worse about yourself because maybe you're not as far into your journey as you'd like to be? What is it that it brings up? And the more you can get into that, the more you can feel into what does it say about you when you're not reaching that goal? What does it mean for yourself in your life when that is not achieved? The more you can get into the root of your attachment. And that is super, super valuable information to see where you could focus on to get back into commitment rather than attachment. So the more you can get to the root of what's going on here, the more you can feel into the feelings and be honest with yourself about what you're worried of, you can face that emotion. And usually really acknowledging to yourself what's really going on, what you're really afraid of, or what you're really feeling about a thing can already shift something a little bit to be like, okay, this is what's going on. And maybe it's a pattern that you've seen in your life that recurs. And, it's that same belief that keeps coming up or that same fear. And it gives yourself a little bit understanding of yourself and how that works. And really give yourself as much space as possible to focus on these beliefs, to focus on these feelings. And if you need help in this process from a friend, talk about it with a friend or with a professional, that can be super helpful to really at some point move past that. And then what's also super helpful is to connect back into the energy of what made you commit in the first place. Like, what was it that you wanted out of this goal? Like, what was so inspiring to you? How does it make you feel when you think about reaching that goal? And a really important part here, I think, is can you see that the journey has value too? That it's not just about the results, but that showing up every day for this goal and learning new skills and doing uncomfortable things, and yeah, that has value too, that's the journey that is also giving you a lot of things regardless of the outcome. Because I think really when you can let go of the outcome a little bit while still feeling inspired every day to show up for your goal, that is a beautiful place to be in. And that allows us to really be creative, to be more flexible, to see another solution when something doesn't go as planned. And it basically gives you so much more space to enjoy the journey, to enjoy what you're learning, to see all the little wins that you've already had, and to go for your goal without it feeling like a chore. But instead, it can feel like an inspiring, beautiful thing that you're trying to accomplish.